From the Middle is proud to be a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 114 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with a point of view that is somewhere in the middle. If you're new here, we like to have conversations that are light and casual about whatever we find interesting, perplexing, or just fun. In this week's episode, we talk about the Olympics as they wrap up, the social ethics of letting yourself into someone else's home, bad hotels, surprising wild birds, and a Ghostbusters trailer. Who you gonna call? Us. With your stories, thoughts, and reactions, phone number found down below in the description, as well as our social media stuff in our link tree. Find us there. Roll the music.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
Hey guys, did you know that France swept the Olympics in handball?
Sounds like something the French would do.
In complete sincerity, be honest, do you even know what handball is?
No idea.
Very basically.
Yeah, it's like basketball and soccer had a baby. So you're running around on a court with a soccer ball and there's a net, but you're dribbling it and tossing it around with your hands. So like lacrosse without a stick, but inside and on a court.
So it's like soccer, but it's so annoying that we can't use our hands.
So good job, France.
Hey,
Woo!
the French had a good opportunity at beating the United States in basketball. In the gold medal game. Didn't happen, but it could have happened.
So we've been watching a few events here and there, and you guys can fact check this fact check. But in the last episode, we talked about how we've been watching a few swim matches, meets, heats, and there was this super annoying air horn in the background. Well, I found an article online where one guy basically was like posted on social media with air horn in hand. It's me, everybody. It's me. So it's just like a guy. I don't know if he's like connected to one of the teams or is a friend of a coach or is a coach or whatever, but he's like, it's me. It's me, everyone.
So is it? So apparently like this went big enough that I was not the only one. Apparently Sherry was as well. And probably hundreds of thousands of my closest friends, enough that this guy felt compelled to come clean. I better not hear about him in Paris in 3 years. Because that made it unenjoyable to watch swimming. That guy, I hate him. Steve. I'm going to call him Steve. His name is Steve.
French Steve.
I'm just glad that America won. We got the most medals and the most of each medal type, and we beat China. So that feels good. I mean, yeah. I did nothing. This is like that thing where you're like, I don't understand why people say we when they're referring to their team. It's not like you played for them. That's totally right. I can at least do that with Ohio State because I went there. I'm an alumni. I guess I live in America, so it's my team, and we won all the medals. Take that, French Steve.
Yeah.
Feels good.
I'm an alumni of the United States as well. So there's that. An interesting stat that I didn't hear the numbers on this year's, but they were talking in retrospective, the previous Summer Olympics. And this makes sense that the United States has been doing so well, so far ahead in the medal counts because of women in this country and sports, women in sports in this country. I mean, the playing field is much more equal here for men and women than virtually anywhere else. And so good job, United States
Yeah.
women.
Go girls.
They're the reason that we're consistently on top, because other countries don't have what we have with women's sports.
Yeah, I can totally believe that. They're out winning medals, and we're here running a podcast, so that makes total sense. That they're out there doing something with their lives.
My wife just got back with like 3 of them.
Yeah,
3 medals.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, for anyone maybe tuning in on YouTube, or if they've heard Corey cut out a little bit, Corey, it looks like you are maybe in a hotel room. It looks very swanky.
Yeah. So
not
I'm
in the
on,
studio.
I'm on the road. I am in Seattle for work. Headquarters are out here. I won't be at headquarters much this week. I'm visiting a customer site, but I will be out here regularly. So this is the first trip of many. It was my first flight since the beginning of COVID when I came back from Australia. So that was kind of, took me a minute to get back into the groove of travel again, and wearing a mask for 4 hours and 45 minutes on my direct flight to Seattle. But yeah, so I'm on the road. Apologize for the audio quality, but it was good to catch up with these guys again. And yeah, I'm at a nice little upgraded room and enjoying it.
So the whole idea of being comfortable lends itself to a question, because we've talked about hotel etiquette before.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and this is directed at both of you, how comfortable do you have to be to with another person? Maybe Corey, in this instance, a coworker, if somebody was traveling with you, to let yourself into their hotel room, or maybe it's somebody in your neighborhood, let themselves into your home. It's a family member. How comfortable do you have to be? Where's your barrier for comfort with somebody?
To let yourself in?
You let yourself in, maybe if it's a work trip, into their hotel room, appropriately. Or
I was going to say that.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
For the work one. You and a colleague say, "Hey, let's go unpack our stuff. We'll go get dinner after. Come to my room. We'll meet up, and then we'll head down to the lobby."
Male colleague.
Sure. Yeah. And you're, in this instance, a male colleague, "Hey, we'll go grab a bite to eat. Just come on down to the room." How comfortable do you have to be for that scenario, to just they've got the bolt between the door and so you can just push it open. They've clearly left it open for you. Would you do that? Is there anyone you've ever worked with you'd be that comfortable you just push into their room?
Only after we had been on the road together for 4 or 5 years. And there's something weird about, that's really funny, because I just got this thought of even if we both just checked in, and even if neither of us have even unpacked yet, if they have the bolt across the door and say, "Yeah, just come on in," it feels like their sacred space, even though there's nothing different about their room than my room. They haven't even been there 15 minutes yet. And I'm like, whoa, I'm in your private area. This feels weird. I'm in your bedroom, basically.
Because there's always a chance that you walk in and their luggage is open and their tidy whities are on the bed, right? Because there's always that chance. And very quickly you can lay claim to a space when your underwear are sitting out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have a line? What about in your neighborhood or with a family member?
I'd say that's got to be pretty close family, or some of your best friends. And even with some family, there's some family I would feel a little bit weird just walking into their house. And in your premise in our group text, you were or in our shared note, you were help yourself inside, grab something from the fridge, lay on the couch. That's, you have to know somebody pretty well, in my opinion.
All right, Ken.
Yeah, I've got my parents and my wife's parents, who I think are the only people that I feel that extent of comfort to be able to follow through with the grab something from the fridge and lie down on the couch. I do have friends whom I would just allow myself into their house, provided that they already knew that I was going to be coming over at around that time. And usually even that is prefaced with them telling me at an earlier date that I could do so. Like, just come on in. And then I assume that applies for the next time around as well. If they're a good enough friend. Oddly enough, one of those friends who I would let myself into his family's home, we work together. I have my office. He has his. And in most scenarios, we're the only two people in that area in the building. And to this day, like, if I want to go into his office to talk to him, I still knock on his door at his office. I don't at his home, but at his office, I do knock before I go in, because I just have I would feel weird about just entering someone's office. And I, oddly enough, even though Corey had mentioned a hotel, even though like nothing of this stuff is yours, this is a less personal space. Possibly, I would feel the same way about a hotel room, that like the hotel room is closer to being someone's office than it is to being their home. And for some reason, for me, that translates to I would rather knock first. And I don't know why that is. That's just how I would approach it.
I don't know. Do a lot of people in offices you've worked in have their underwear sitting out?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea why that is.
I think part of it about hotel rooms is weird is because we've listened to enough comedians talk about how they treat their hotel rooms.
Maybe.
Like, it's instantly naked when you get there, and you're just like, because of the freedom. I'm so interested why you ask, but like, before we get into it, I want people to do that at my house because it's a sign of how comfortable they are in the relationship.
Right.
So like, I expect almost anyone, like, it would be deeply honoring if I've only met you a couple times and you helped yourself to something in my fridge. Like, I'd be like, wow, they're really comfortable here that they would do that. But I wouldn't do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's funny how quickly that could cross the line. In that example, if somebody said, hey, I need to go use the restroom at your house, and came back and got a drink and then sat down and said, man, your MeUndies are really soft. I've always considered buying those before, but I didn't realize how soft they were till I checked out the ones you had. And it wouldn't be deeply honoring anymore.
It would not be deeply honoring.
It would be deeply something.
Disturbing.
Yeah. Well, so I think with all of these questions, it's my answer in my head is like, there's maybe less there. I could count on one hand the number of different households I would maybe do this in. Mm-hmm. Right. And to where I don't ask anybody if I just walk and grab a can of soda out of their second fridge in the garage, or I know where the key is to get into their house and I've used it before because I've genuinely needed to do so. I think it's fascinating because I think there's also this, like, let's say that you're running this scenario where somebody has asked you to come over and house sit for any amount of time. Maybe it's to check on pets, or, hey, could you just come over, turn the lights on, throw the TV on for a little bit, check this and that, and then you can leave. Any of those situations where it's not somebody that I would feel super comfortable with, it's almost then becomes like a crime scene. Like, if I only move this one pillow on the couch that's nearest to the coffee table and the remote, I can make the minimal amount of impact on their house. So even though they're expecting me, it will appear as though no one was ever here.
You still feel like you need to get away with something.
And then I need to examine the angle of the pillow to make sure I put it back the way that it's on the couch now, if that's the only thing I'm going to move while I'm in here. That's on the other end of the spectrum versus the handful of houses where I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just go help. And I don't know that there's any house where I'm like opening the deli drawer and pulling out roast beef and cheese and, putting together a deli sandwich at anybody's house. Right. Because grabbing a drink out of the fridge, a sealed drink, is a lot different than like putting together, oh, I pulled out this ham that you had for Easter and I'm slicing off a piece to make a sandwich kind of thing. Feels like entirely different level.
Reheating the oven to bake one of their frozen pizzas.
Yeah, exactly.
So my father-in-law tells a story that one of the first indications that he really liked my sister-in-law's now husband, Sherry's sister's husband, this is when they were dating, They had only been dating for a short time, and he walked out. They were at the house. He walked out to the refrigerator, poured himself a glass of milk, and then came back into the room they were all sitting in, and didn't say anything, didn't ask. He was just like, class act. I like this guy. And I was like,
He stole your milk.
everything you just said, but like in a dating situation where you're like, I'm just gonna go for it. That takes
See, class act feels like an interesting choice of words for that situation. I would say confidence. I like that.
Those are my words.
Oh, okay. I was going to say if he used the words class act, that's interesting.
Class act was not what it was. More like that was an indication to him that, like I said earlier, he feels comfortable and has a certain amount of confidence, and but also enough to notice that it was a bit different, or like you would expect someone to go, excuse me, do you care if I go out to your refrigerator and help myself? Like he was just like, stood up, walked out, didn't say anything, came back, had helped himself.
Bold.
Yeah, it also shows lactose tolerance,
Bold move.
which
I
can
like
be
it.
useful in a dating situation.
Speaking
If we
of,
learned anything from Big Bang Theory.
Speaking of homes, Kendall, I would like to know how things are going with the foster bird, and I have a video to show you from vacation, based on how you answer the question. So just quickly, how are things going with Mimi the biter?
Mimi is still a biter. We were feeling possibly a little glimmer of hope with some physical interaction between her and my wife, and then letting the kids pet her, and she turned around and bit one of the kids and drew blood. And I mean, it wasn't a traumatic experience, but that was the nail in the coffin of like, we're just biding time with this bird now. It is going back.
Oh, she's still alive. It wasn't a literal nail.
Right. It wasn't a literal nail. It was also a proverbial coffin.
Okay, cool.
Although I am going to request to whoever ends up with her that I can show up the day that she dies to bury her.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, an animal bites and hurts one of my kids, and it changes my opinion of that animal.
Yeah. It should. So I'm going to share a video with you guys because Kendall, I think I have a way for you to get your new bird. All right. Can you guys see the little video now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play it once and then I'll explain it and play it again.
Go!
What just happened?
You just trap a bird?
Not engaged. Back up. All right, now let it go. Let it go.
That was some cat-like speed.
Yeah. So this kid is buried in sand and somehow caught a bird under a towel.
Okay. So
I don't know how.
This family was right next to us at the beach a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And this family, Gage is the guy in the video who does this for the people who aren't watching on YouTube. He's from Virginia. He was there with his family and some family friends. So I think there was 3 families for Virginia. They were all really cool. We had a good time hanging out. But this was what broke the ice in our friendship. So Gage buries himself in the sand and puts a towel over his entire body, and then put some goldfish or crackers on the towel. He said he had seen this on TikTok. He put some goldfish or crackers on the towel, and when this black, water bird comes in to grab the cracker, he clamps down on it with the towel. So I'm going to play it one more time.
Go!
Oh.
It's so much funnier when you know what's going to happen. He has the bird.
Back up.
I never saw the bird leave the first time.
Wow.
Did he kill it?
No,
Or is
no,
he
no,
just
it
holding on
flies
to
away.
it? Okay.
Watch back.
It flies
Okay.
off.
Oh,
So
you just
anyway,
don't get to see it fly off. All right.
so I watched all this go down, right?
Yeah.
From like, why is he digging up? Is okay. A lot of kids bury themselves at the beach. I'm like, why is he like burying like a little coffin-sized hole, and then he covers himself up? And I'm like, oh, he's been feeding the birds all day, so he like slow lured them into this thing. It
Goodness.
was so funny. And I went over and I was like, dude, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Do you care if I share that on my podcast? And he's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So shout out to Gage and his family. That's one of the, so if you need a new bird, maybe that's the way you go.
Maybe that's the way to go. Yeah. Boy, tell you what, yeah, that bird is. So we we had my friend Jim. We were out of town for a little bit last week. He came in to babysit the bird. That's not the right word. House sit, whatever. He came in and fed the bird, and I was so worried that he got bit. He was babysitting for us the week before, a couple weeks before, and like the bird wasn't out. It must, like, it had to have just been through the cage. Like he was getting too close, and the bird just snapped and went after him. So thanks for watching our bird, Jim. Oh, speaking of hotels, okay, so we went on this trip. Our family, my wife's family, has this lodge in a small town, Delphi, in Indiana, and this lodge is for anybody in the family to use. They built it like a decade ago or so. It's what they use for like their big family Christmases and things like that. And then there's the schedule. You can put yourself on the schedule and grab a week or a weekend.
That's cool.
And so we went up there last week, just on Thursday night. We came back on Saturday. One thing that I have learned from being at the lodge previously is that I cannot sleep in the lodge because I won't be able to breathe when I'm done because I'm
You've talked about this place before, yeah.
Yeah, I'm an allergic mess at the lodge. So anything that's like, hey, let's rent a cabin somewhere, that like I'm out. I can't do that. But so we all wanted to do that, and I got a hotel in the area, and cheapest hotel, $50 a night for this hotel, and the I've stayed at this hotel before, and I don't remember it being this bad.
Oh no.
We're talking like I'm walking on my way to the room, and I'm sloshing through wet carpet on my way there.
Oh.
and it's like next to, I don't know, it might be a utility room or something, I don't know, but there's like this 10-foot patch of hallway where the carpet is wet. They have a wet floor sign up, which it's not like you're going to slip and fall on wet carpet. It's just disgusting. And so I'm like, oh, something happened. I'm sure they're taking care of it. But no, but I'm leaving on Saturday, and it's still the same sloshing through wet carpet as it was 2 days prior. Like there was no change. And that's indicative of how clean I felt the room was. Now, for me, for my purposes, I'm actually okay with that. Relatively speaking, it's just me. It's $50. I'm trying to do something cheap because, like, it's my fault that we need to get a hotel room for just me to sleep in on these nights. We were contemplating bringing the whole family to the hotel the first night, and I'm so glad we didn't, because, and not only that, but like the pool has been under maintenance now for like 2 years. So they effectively don't have a pool anymore, but the website still says closed for repairs. Which is interesting.
Just imagine.
I think they keep.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I think they keep trying to fill the pool back up, and it's like leaking out down the hallway.
I just imagine you calling the front desk, being like, excuse me, I'm sure you already know about, there's a lot of water in the hallway. Oh yeah, the water hallway. Was there an issue? Wait, what do you mean by water hallway? Yeah. The water.
Something like
There's a hallway that has water. It's a water feature. Did you have questions about the hallway, or are you lost in the hotel? Do you need help? Like them just trying to pawn it off.
Oh,
We're actually
man.
testing it as a new pool. That's the shallow end. We just want to see how things go.
Oh boy, it smelled like a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so you know how sometimes like they have these side doors, right? That you can choose which one of these entrance doors is closest to your room, and that way you don't have to go through the lobby every time. So after the first night, like I'm I'm sitting in the car about to leave to go to the lodge in the morning, and my wife sends me a text asking me to bring one of the little soaps because she forgot to bring soap. And I'm like, okay. To tell you the truth, I was sitting in the parking lot contemplating, should I go back inside to go to the bathroom, or should I try to hold it until I get to the lodge and just go there? And that made up my mind for me. And so now it's like I have to go. I feel like this is going to make me sound really weird, and I agree. Once I have the mental process of I'm going to be able to relieve myself here soon, that gets the ball rolling, and it can't go backwards.
Yeah.
And so, my bowels are all excited for the party.
Because we've had a conversation and they know what's about to go down.
and I'm walking toward the door that I came out of to get to my car. I've got my key card in hand. I looked at the door on my way out just to make sure that it said you can use your key to get. So I go up there. I've got my key card, and the key card reader is hanging from wires off of the wall.
Oh, gee.
Oh.
So now I had to walk all the way around the building. Not quite doing the clinch and waddle move, but it was close to that. So that was my hotel stay.
You walk by
That
the
looks like
front
a
desk.
nice hotel.
You walk by the front desk and tell them what happened, and they're like, "What'd you expect? It was $50 a night."
It was $50 a night, exactly.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
The new water hallway feature. How much of a multiplier for bed bugs was that? Like 4 times, 8 times?
I did not inspect for bed bugs. I guess in hindsight, I probably should have. We'll have to wait and see if Kendall has bed bugs in his house now.
Yeah, because I was thinking we've
I'll let
discussed
you
in
know.
the past that you have a whole dilemma about how to take your muddy shoes off going into your house.
Right.
So I just imagine you like trying to shake off your bed bug clothes and shoes at your house when you got home, like trying to kick it all off in the yard.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I just felt like that would be a whole thing. Although this might be a perfect opportunity to take a quick break and hear from one of our friends in the Odd Pods Media Network.
Welcome everybody to the Barging podcast. I am.
Whoa, dude. No. This is our promo, not the show. I'm Rico.
Oh, sorry. I'm CJ, and we're the hosts of the Podeskew podcast.
We're fans of pretty much anything and everything pop culture, including movies, TV shows, books, video games, comics, music, and of course, Kevin Smith. Now, while we do keep our fingers on the pulse of Silent Bob, he certainly doesn't need our help in promoting him.
You got that right. We do our own thing, with inspiration from the man himself and his mantra of why not. We've got stories about celebrities we've interviewed, theories of our own for certain movies, and we can usually tend to have a great debate about anything.
We also do commentaries on movies. Sometimes we ask our fans what they want to watch with us. So if you love the timbre of our vocal cords and want to watch a movie at the same time, give us a listen.
Stay tuned every Monday, there's always something new. And if you've been good this year, we may even give you a bonus episode from time to time.
So please be good and subscribe to and enjoy Podeskew, founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Dylan, bring us out.
What am I supposed to say to bring
Just
us
bring
out?
us back
Does
from
this
break.
does this
You're
does this
you make a
count?
joke. You make a joke about sandwiches,
Mhm.
and then you continue on from there, and then you use that to segue into a new topic.
Okay. And that's when I told her, wait till you try the cheesy gordita crunch.
Stupid floozy.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a good
man.
story. If she
Yeah.
hadn't just won a gold medal in front of me, it would have been, way funnier. Anyways. So, Kendall, we heard about your lovely lodge stay. Tell us that you had some good news while you were.
So I have not. I have not owned a console, a gaming console of any kind, um, since marriage, since being married, and which is a long time. I have been into gaming before. That is a previous life of mine, and I just didn't. I knew that it was a time suck for me. My kids, again, 6 years old, 2 5-year-olds, they have had like the Amazon Fire kid play editions, whatever, ever since they were too little to really use them. By now, they've gotten kind of old and they don't really charge anymore, that kind of thing. And so, for this road trip that we were taking, we decided it would be a good opportunity to replace those. Inconspicuously interviewed each kid about what sort of do they just want to replace that, or would they want something else. Again, when Jim was babysitting our kids, his older son had a Nintendo Switch. Introduced that to our kids, and so that was part of the conversation. And the boys very clearly wanted Switches, and their sister very clearly just wanted to replace her tablet and was not interested in video games whatsoever. So we got 2 Switch Lights, and shout out to you guys helped me a little bit, and then I texted Harrison and Jordan from Grief Burrito. One of the fantastic things of having a podcast is you get to network with people like that. And so the boys at Grief Burrito gave me some great advice. They are why I landed on Nintendo Switch Lite. It's like $100 less or something, and a little bit smaller, better for little hands, but also cheaper. I'm buying 2 of these things, right? And like I'm sitting there the night before we're going to give them to them, and I'm setting them up with accounts and everything, and I'm like, these things are cool, and I start getting itchy. And then, like, since they're only 5 and 6, like I'm downloading like stupid free little kid editions of games.
Yeah, man.
I did buy them a couple games as well, and I'm just like playing these free little games, and I'm like, I can feel it. And so now my mother-in-law and my wife, I think, have an over-under on how long it's going to take before I end up getting one for myself. So we've got the 2 Switch Lights, and I think by Christmas I'm going to end up with a standard Switch for the house, for the home.
Sure.
Not for me. It's for the home.
We've talked about in the past, you've more recently upgraded your basement with some new audio video equipment. And so you'd be remiss to not upgrade with some kind of game system down there.
Well, right. And that's actually my
Switch.
That's actually my family room. An interesting detail is that we did everything in like white and gold. Mm-hmm. And so on October 8th, I believe, Switch is dropping a brand new one. Nintendo's dropping a new Switch at the end of this fall, that has a white docking station. Wow. And it comes with white Joy-Cons.
Wow, look at that.
And so I show that to my wife, and I'm like, if it wasn't going to be the new PlayStation, like, there's this.
I mean, there's more expensive decor we could buy to match, and this also plays video games. So,
well, there is more expensive decor. I don't think we would buy decor at $400 a pop, but you never know.
So your situation right now is what I call, is what I say, or no, how do I say that? When I'm in your situation, I describe it as feeling spendy.
Yes.
You get the little bit of that itch, like there's a whole wish list burning a hole in my digital pocket at lego.com, and it's a bunch of stuff sitting there that I'm ready to pull the trigger on it. I think you might be feeling a little spendy right now.
I am. And part of it too is like the games that like my boys want are not the games that I want. And so that's a problem. Yeah. So I'm not going to play. Well, I am going to play theirs, but I would love there's so much more if they had the games that I want. You know, I'm not doing.
I'm so excited for you. It's like you're the kid at Christmas standing outside of the store looking inside, and you're excited about a video game console again. And I'd like to think that we had just a small, tiny, little bitty part of that, even though most of it came through seeing the joy in your son's eyes when you got them Switch lights.
I think it was inevitable. However, you guys are definitely part of that equation for sure. You've kept the talk of gaming fresh in my life, so I was never able to like just leave it behind permanently.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, and I've had false hope for so long of a new college football game, which was then, in the last 6 months has been confirmed, and now it's very real enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here waiting for a PS5, hopefully an NCAA football themed version of the console. That I'm just waiting for that thing to come out, and I'm gonna go upgrade. I think my wife knows it's not even a question. Like, when that comes out, I will be there with however many dollars in hand, ready to go. So you just go get a couple Switch games you're right up your alley, and that console's gonna match your room. I think you've already got it laid out.
Yeah.
Well,
might as well already be there.
That's right. Well, speaking of football and dreams coming true, I wanted to share this with you guys so that you can celebrate with me. I feel a little weird sharing it, but 4 or 6 weeks ago, there was some chatter from some people on social media in our small town that they were replacing Dylan and I's alma mater, the football field. It has traditionally been a regular grass turf. And some people were up in arms that they were spending tens of thousands of dollars on an AstroTurf, like a really nice inlaid AstroTurf. And people were making comments like, I don't think we should be spending $80,000. You know how small towns can be with that sort of thing. So if you guys remember a bunch of episodes back, I told you that we had unveiled the rebranded mascot design and a whole logo spirit mark family that I had done for our alma mater.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know
very
anything.
well, by the way. Very cool.
Thank you. I didn't know that they were redoing the field at all, but I was like, I wonder if they're going to use one of the new designs on the 50-yard line. So I sent a few texts out to some folks and was like, hey, anybody know? But I had to do this under the radar because I didn't want the angry people who were mad about the field, the tax dollars that were being spent on the field, to know that I was excited about it. So anyway, I'm excited to unveil to you guys I got a photo. Somebody sent up a drone and got a cool shot of the field featuring the new logo. So,
dude,
that looks so good.
So there it is.
Sick.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome. I don't see your signature anywhere. They need to.
Right. But I was so excited. Like Dylan and I went there. Our dad went there. Our dad's dad went there. Like, it's pretty cool to have a part in doing that rebrand and it being featured on the field. And that's going to last for a really long time. So I was super excited. That all happened while I was on vacation. But yeah, pretty cool.
That's awesome. And actually, it's been a long time since I've been there. It's a nice stadium for the size of school, because there was a short period where it was shared with Ohio Northern University, and then they ended up building their own. And so it's not like one of those where there's like the bleachers are like four levels high wood bleachers, on each side of the field. Like,
right.
It's genuinely a nice, really nice field. And so I think having nice AstroTurf, really nice logo, everything looks really clean. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. They're going to play soccer.
I agree.
They're going to play soccer on it as well. So it'll get multiple uses, but I thought that was cool. And part of the reason we do this podcast is for posterity. So it's just fun to tell those little stories. And anyway, so what else is going on?
I have one pop culture thing. Can I bring up?
Yes, please.
No.
No. All right. Next, what else?
You're one of the co-hosts of this podcast. Say what you want, bro.
I know, but I ask, for to make it look good, and then you guys say of course, and then we do the thing. And so usually. So anyways, a good friend of mine, we've done 2 tangents episodes. That's kind of bonus content on YouTube, our YouTube page. If you've not ever tuned into that, we've done 2 tangent episodes. I've done both of them with my good buddy Brad, and I was talking to Brad yesterday or today, I don't remember when, and he said, have you seen the new Ghostbusters 3 Afterlife trailer? I saw the initial one, but there wasn't much in it. And I said no. He said, I'll send you the link, you got to watch it. And it was funny because we were talking about, I think this helped build enthusiasm for the trailer. We were talking about it while we were on the phone before I got to actually go watch it. And we were talking, I mentioned we didn't really get to watch scary movies growing up. That wasn't, it wasn't really something that we did. It wasn't something that played in our household. So something like Ghostbusters would have been one of the edgier things that we might have seen growing up from it's funny, but there's some kind of scary creatures. And so that was on the edge of what we would have been able to watch probably as kids. And I still loved it, even though it would have been one of the potentially scarier things. And we always very fondly, at least I always thought very fondly of Ghostbusters. We had a game that was ridiculously hard. We couldn't figure out to play for Sega Genesis. But I always loved the theme song, and I thought the movies were a lot of fun. And so we're talking about this whole experience of Ghostbusters growing up, and then the Lego sets and how cool those were for Ghostbusters and the big building and the Ecto-1. Anyways, no comment on the reboot with the female cast. I never saw it, so no comment there. But so I'm going to watch this trailer knowing that Paul Rudd is in it, and that's about all that I know. And Paul Rudd never ages, and he's Ant-Man, and he's awesome. So I'm excited to see the trailer, and it looks so good. I was instantly sucked back into being a kid. And I don't know if you guys have watched this trailer yet. It's the perfect balance of nostalgia and a little bit silly, but kind of that little dark, ominous, some stuff's going to go down. And I know it comes out this fall. I'm so excited to go see it. I think this is one I have to go see in theaters now because it looks so good.
Yeah, you sent it to us, and I would recommend, I think it's the Afterlife 2 trailer, if you didn't mention that, because I think there was one before it. But yeah, the way the music was done and the cast, the kid from Stranger Things and Paul Rudd, and it just looks like a great cast. A bunch of nods to the original films, some cameos, pretty likely. I think
even the producer is the son of the original producer.
How they tie it all together, the special effects, but also making them look slightly 80s. It just looks really, really good. I'm not as big into the Ghostbusters fandom. I know our brother-in-law Chad is, and some friends of ours are, but yeah, this is one that it just looks so well done that I want to go check it out for sure.
Well, one little thing that I had to have highlighted to me, because after I watched the trailer, I knew I was missing some things in the trailer from the original movies. And so if you remember in the original movies, when the spirits sort of fly out across whatever, and they're sort of let loose, there's these pink sort of pipe streams of energy that sort of are flying throughout. They even pulled that into the new trailer. And so to mimic, the original feel. I just thought there's so many little things that were just so fun. I was totally geeking out over it. And, some fandoms you really enjoy, and then you go a long time and you haven't watched it and it sort of disappears into the background. But man, that trailer just brought chunks of my childhood just rushing right back in the best kind of ways. So anyways, we'll try to maybe post that into the Facebook community page. If you're on any of our socials or you find us, there's a link tree set of links where you can find our Facebook community page. Go follow there. We post some fun stuff in, but yeah, it was just great. So it was one of those things I had to bring up because I didn't know if you guys watched it and what your thoughts were. There's definitely some fun cameos even in the trailer. So I think it'll be fun to see what happens in the actual movie.
Dude, that hearing you talk about it is fun. It just is. When did you say it comes out?
I think Thanksgiving this year. Sometime around Thanksgiving.
So, dude, you're I've never been genuinely happy, felt joy for someone else because a video game was coming out. And then here comes along Dylan with the NCAA football, and I'm like genuinely happy, and I love to hear Dylan talk about it. And then now I had like, here's another one. I'm like genuinely happy that this movie is coming out because Dylan gets to watch it.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean-
Extreme Makeover Home Edition, but like first world. Like, I don't need a house. I just want a video game and cool movies. So I mean, I do need a house if anyone wants to start a GoFundMe. But like,
Yeah, with this housing market, you need a GoFundMe.
that's right. But I'll settle for Ghostbusters 3, and I'm very excited about it.
My art school college roommate Greg, he does cosplay. He's a big Boba Fett fan, so he's done cosplay of Boba Fett. He does cosplay of the Ghostbusters, and he has modded out his last 2 vehicles. One was a white station wagon, and the new one is a white SUV. He's modded them out as the Ecto 1. So he does like the big rack on top. He does the logo on the door.
Wow.
He does the tubes and the whole nine, like the yellow and black caution tape. And he's a part of this group that goes around and they do cool charity things for kids and communities and stuff like that as the Ghostbusters in his area. I think he was in Toledo. Now he's back in Columbus. But anyway, yeah, I like guys like that. I get excited for them, and they're like the first people that I go see what they thought about it after it comes out, because I know how much they care. It's like us to Star Wars, or us and mostly Dylan to Marvel. It's like, hey, what did you think? What did you think? But yeah, I'm with you, Kendall. It's like you're excited for them.
Yeah. Like, and it's gonna make me want to see it because, like you said, I want to talk to Dylan about it.
Yeah.
That's the cool part. Have you been back to a theater yet, Dylan?
No. I think Shang-Chi is going to be the first thing that gets me back in theaters.
Okay.
I think I mentioned I was tempted with Black Widow, but I didn't quite pull the trigger. And then I almost did the premiere access on Disney Plus, and I didn't do that either. So, I mean, I could anytime still, but I think I can hold off on Black Widow. But I think I need to go see Shang-Chi in theaters. Like, the first thing back feels like it needs to be Marvel. So
not Space Jam.
no,
okay.
I hate to say this. I couldn't finish Space Jam. I just didn't. The new Space Jam just didn't do it for me.
Really?
Yeah, and maybe I needed to finish it to get to the best part, but I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it. I turned it off with probably half an hour left. I couldn't even finish the movie.
Wow.
So not my speed. God bless anybody who likes it, but I think Shang-Chi will do it. Even if I go, I think at this point it's just been so long. Even if Shang-Chi ends up being the worst of the Marvel,
God. Charlie Horse. Oh, Charlie Horse.
What the heck?
or he just died. If you're listening,
I just thought it'd be funny to call it out. Oh God! Point your toe.
Point
Sorry.
your toe.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Shang-Chi. So I'll let you know. I'm sure everyone will hear about it, that the 4 people that listen to the podcast after I go to a movie finally in 2 years.
Speaking of new movies and premiere access, I got Jungle Cruise and watched that on the plane. Have you guys seen Jungle Cruise with The Rock?
No.
Yeah, this is about exactly what you'd expect. It had a little Pirates of the Caribbean feel to it. But do you guys remember Friday Night Lights, the TV show?
I never watched the movie or show, but I'm aware of what it is.
One of the cast members from the TV show, Jesse Plemons, plays the main villain. It's like a World War I era German villain, and he does a really good job. But The Rock is The Rock, and John Krasinski's wife,
Emily Blunt,
not Emma Lee Blunt. Yeah, she does great. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun romp through the jungle. It's a good airplane movie, put it that way. And I got caught up with season 2 of Ted Lasso. So love that show, man.
Ted Lasso is so good. I like The Rock as a human being, but The Rock really struggles at being anyone but The Rock.
Yeah.
He's just The Rock in a different costume, and God bless him, he makes tons of money. So I'm glad he's enjoying what he's doing. I just don't need to go out of my way to see anything with The Rock, and it doesn't mean I don't like him, and it doesn't mean he's not still making enjoyable movies. He's just always The Rock for me, and more power
Yep.
to him. I hope he keeps making boatloads of money from doing it.
Pun intended. Yeah, because there's a boat. But yeah, he's absolutely the Rock in the movie. There's a ton of plot holes. But you know, there's a bunch of great visual effects, and like I said, they threw in some Pirates of the Caribbean elements. I won't spoil the movie if you decide to watch it, but yeah, good times.
It's cool.
Righto.
All right, boys. Well, I think I'm gonna go get dinner here at the hotel restaurant. I'll catch you on the flippity flip. This has been really fun. Thanks for tuning in this week while we just sort of go around and catch up with one another and tell funny stories. Please support our sponsors. The first is Stello Mints. We absolutely love their product. It's new to us. We're super excited about it. They are CBD mints in 3 awesome flavors. They take just the right amount of edge off if you're running a little anxious or stressed for a big meeting or call. That's Stello Mints, STELLOMINTS.com. Use promo code The Middle at checkout to get 10% off all of your orders. I recommend the matcha flavored mints. Those are my favorite. Also, Artius Man men's grooming products. I'm wearing the 3-wood beard oil right now. It smells amazing. They have really good men's grooming products and beard care products. Go to artiusman.com, ARTIUSMAN.com. Use promo code The Middle to get 25% off your first order. And really appreciate it, guys. Anything else, fellas, before next week?
I don't think so.
Peace.
Awesome. Catch y'all on the flippity flip flip.